You call yourself tough. You've survived some pain, endured some struggle, faced some adversity, but you're still soft, still breakable, still clinging to comfort in ways you don't even recognize. Guts? He transcended softness entirely. Let that reality crush you. Your pain has a limit. Guts' pain became infinite. You break under pressure. Guts was forged by it. You run from suffering. Guts runs toward it because he understands something you never will, that true strength isn't about avoiding pain. It's about becoming so intertwined with suffering that pain and self become indistinguishable. You think toughness is about pushing through hard times, but that's still the mindset of someone who sees hardship as an exception, an obstacle to overcome. Guts doesn't see it that way. For him, suffering isn't something that happens to him. It's the fundamental nature of existence itself, and he's made peace with that in a way most humans can never comprehend. Don't scroll thinking this is another motivational speech about grinding and hustling. It's not. This is a confrontation with the reality that you're soft in ways that matter, and Guts represents the opposite of everything soft about you. Most people believe willpower comes from the mind. They think if they just think hard enough, want badly enough, they can overcome anything. But Guts learned that willpower is a luxury only available to those who've already accepted complete annihilation. Once you truly accept that death could come at any moment, that everything you love can be taken from you, that your body is just a vessel for suffering, only then does real power emerge. You haven't accepted that. You're still negotiating with fate. You're still believing there's a limit to how much you can endure. You're still clinging to the fantasy that if you work hard enough, things will eventually get easier. Guts abandoned those fantasies long ago. His journey wasn't about becoming stronger despite his circumstances. It was about becoming so broken by his circumstances that he had nothing left to lose. That's when the true force awakens. Not the force of a man trying to overcome obstacles. The force of a man who's already been destroyed and is now moving through the world as pure will unattached to outcome. You measure your strength by how much you can lift, how long you can run, how many failures you can bounce back from. But those metrics only apply to people who still believe there's a finish line. Guts doesn't believe in finish lines anymore. He believes in eternal struggle, and from that belief comes a power that casual, ambitious people can never access. If you're still listening, like this video, because you're about to confront why your toughness is still performance, still a persona, still a lie you tell yourself. The Black Swordsman isn't tough because he's physically stronger than other warriors. He's tough because he's stopped believing he deserves to survive. That shift in consciousness changes everything. When you stop fighting to preserve yourself and start fighting because fighting is the only thing left, you become something else entirely. You become inevitable. You train your body. Guts was trained by torture. You push yourself in the gym. Guts was pushed to the brink of death repeatedly. You face rejection and bounce back. Guts watched everyone he loved murdered in the most brutal way possible. There's no comparison. Not because you're weak, but because his crucible was absolute, while yours is still negotiable. The price he paid for his strength wasn't just physical, it was existential. He had to watch the person he loved most betray him at the moment of his greatest vulnerability. He had to experience the systematic destruction of everything he believed in. He had to become a marked man hunted by a supernatural force simply for surviving. Most people break under one of these pressures. Guts endured all of them and emerged harder, colder, more relentless. That's not luck. That's not just genetics or good training. That's a fundamental rewiring of the human spirit that only happens when you've been tested to the absolute limits of endurance and have chosen to keep moving forward anyway. You haven't been tested like that, and that's why you're still soft. It's not an insult, It's just the objective reality of where you stand compared to someone like Guts. Comment, "I'm ready," when you feel the truth of this settling into your bones, that your current level of toughness is still just the beginning of what's actually possible. The armor Guts wears isn't just steel and iron. It's a manifestation of his psychological state. Every plate represents a scar. Every dent represents a near-death experience. Every joint represents a moment he should have broken but didn't. That armor is heavier than any armor you could physically wear because it represents the psychological weight of carrying absolute trauma and choosing to move forward anyway. Most people with that level of trauma would be broken. They'd be dysfunctional, unable to operate, destroyed beyond repair. But Guts took his trauma and weaponized it. He converted his suffering into fuel. He transformed his pain into clarity. That's the ultimate alchemy, taking your greatest weakness and making it your greatest strength. You haven't done that yet. You're still treating your pain as something to overcome rather than something to integrate. You're still believing that someday the struggle will end and peace will come. Guts doesn't believe that. He's accepted that the struggle never ends. And in that acceptance, he's found a kind of peace that's completely foreign to your experience. Pure determination, pure will, pure refusal to surrender. Share this video if you've ever realized that your suffering, however intense it's been, probably pales in comparison to what others have endured. If you've ever felt small when confronted with someone who survived things that should have destroyed them, your story is still being written. You still have hope that things could get better. You still believe in the possibility of eventual peace. Those beliefs keep you human. They also keep you soft. Guts let go of those beliefs long ago. He stopped waiting for things to improve and accepted that the only improvement available to him was becoming harder, colder, more relentless. That acceptance is what separates him from every warrior you've ever admired. Other strong people are strong despite their circumstances. Guts is strong because of his circumstances. His nightmare became his foundry. His horror became his education. His trauma became his superpower. The question isn't whether you can become as strong as Guts. The question is whether you're willing to pay the price he paid. Because strength at his level doesn't come from dedication or discipline or smart training. It comes from having lived through hell and choosing not to break. Until you've faced that kind of crucible, you're still just playing the game of toughness. Guts stopped playing. He became the game itself. The final truth. You think you understand struggle, but you don't. Not yet. Not until you've faced something that genuinely threatens to obliterate you. Not until you've stood at the edge of absolute destruction and chosen to keep moving forward anyway. Only then will you understand what Guts actually is. And only then will you stop calling yourself tough. Because you'll finally comprehend what true toughness actually costs.